In quiet neighborhoods, power goes wrong.
The sentence that changed our lives forever wasn't shouted in anger. It was said calmly, coldly, like a rule being enforced. You do not belong to us. Those words echoed in my head long after my disabled daughter collapsed to the ground, crying, her hands shaking as neighbors froze in silence. No one moved. No one spoke. And the woman who said it, an HOA representative everyone feared, stood there as if she had done nothing wrong. That was the moment I realized this wasn't about rules. It was about power. That morning had started like any other. My daughter, Lily, sat at the kitchen table, carefully eating her breakfast. Because of her disability, simple routines took extra time. She smiled at me as she adjusted her braces, proud of herself for finishing without help. "Dad," she said softly, "can we go to the park today?" I nodded. "Of course." She clapped gently, her joy simple and pure. We had no idea that within an hour, someone would try to convince her and everyone watching that she didn't belong in her own neighborhood. Our community looked perfect from the outside. Manicured lawns, white fences, quiet streets. But anyone who lived there knew the truth. The HOA ruled everything. What you planted, where you parked, who was acceptable. And at the center of it all was Karen. She wasn't officially the president, but she might as well have been. People crossed the street to avoid her. Parents whispered her name like a warning. I had avoided her for years. Until that day. We were just leaving the house when her voice cut through the air. "Excuse me." I turned slowly. Karen stood near the sidewalk, arms crossed, clipboard pressed against her chest like a weapon. She stared at Lily. Then at her wheelchair. Then back at me. "There have been complaints," she said. "About what?" I asked calmly. She gestured vaguely. "About this. About her." Lily's smile faded. I felt my jaw tighten. "Be specific." Karen sighed, as if we were inconveniencing her. "She makes residents uncomfortable," she said. "And there are community standards." I took a step forward. "My daughter lives here," I said. "She's not violating anything." Karen leaned closer. Her voice dropped. "You people never understand," she said. "This is a certain kind of community." Then she looked directly at Lily. "And said it. You do not belong to us." Time stopped. Lily blinked, confused. I live here," she whispered. Karen straightened. "That's debatable." Doors cracked open. Curtains moved. People watched. No one intervened. Karen raised her hand sharply, not striking wildly, not screaming, just a sudden, forceful movement meant to dominate. Lily stumbled backward, startled, losing balance. She fell to her knees. Her cry wasn't loud. It was shocked. Broken. I dropped beside her instantly, holding her as she trembled. Karen stepped back, expression unreadable. "She should be supervised better," she said flatly. Everything in me wanted to explode. But I didn't. I stayed calm. Because anger would give her what she wanted. Instead, I looked up and said clearly, loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Do not ever speak to my daughter again." Karen scoffed. "You don't get to decide that." I met her eyes. "We'll see." At home, Lily sat quietly on the couch. She didn't cry. That scared me more. "Dad," she finally said, "did I do something wrong?" My chest tightened. "No," I said immediately. "You did nothing wrong." She nodded, but I could see doubt settling in. That's what people like Karen do. They don't just hurt bodies. They hurt identity. Over the next few days, things escalated. Violation notices appeared on our door. Warnings. Threats. All vague. All targeting Lily's presence. One notice read: continued non-compliance will result in enforcement action. Non-compliance with what? Existing. Then came the email. Mandatory HOA meeting. Agenda: community concerns. I knew exactly what that meant. They weren't just targeting my daughter anymore. They were preparing to erase her. The night before the meeting, Lily came into my room. "Dad," she asked quietly, "do they really think I don't belong?" I knelt in front of her. I held her hands. "No," I said firmly. "They are wrong. And tomorrow, we make sure everyone knows it." She nodded. But fear lingered. The meeting room was packed. Karen sat at the front. Confident. Prepared. She smiled when she saw us. Not a friendly smile. A victorious one. I squeezed Lily's hand. Whatever happened next, I would make sure she never believed that lie again. Karen stood at the front of the room like she owned it. Clipboard in hand. Smile perfectly rehearsed. "Thank you all for coming," she began. "This meeting is about preserving the standards of our community." My stomach tightened. Lily sat beside me, her hands folded in her lap, eyes fixed on the floor. Karen clicked a slide on the screen. "Certain residents," she said carefully, "have raised concerns about disruptions, safety risks, and discomfort." She didn't say Lily's name. She didn't need to. Karen cleared her throat. "There is a situation involving a minor," she said. "A child whose condition requires special accommodations that our community was not designed to handle." A murmur spread through the room. I raised my hand. Karen ignored it. "These accommodations," she continued, "create liability." Liability. That's what my daughter had become to her. Not a child. A risk. Lily slowly raised her hand. The room went quiet. Karen hesitated, then nodded stiffly. "Yes?" Lily's voice trembled, but she spoke anyway. "I don't bother anyone," she said. "I just want to play like other kids." Karen smiled thinly. "This isn't personal," she said. "It's policy." Lily looked at me, confused. I felt something shift in the room. People were listening now. Karen turned back to the crowd. "Unfortunately," she said, "there was an incident where this child caused a disturbance and failed to follow directives." I stood up. "That's a lie," I said calmly. Karen's smile vanished. "Sir," she snapped, "you are out of order." "No," I replied. "You are." A woman near the back stood. "I was there," she said. "Your version isn't what happened." Karen froze. Another man stood. "I saw it too," he added. "The child didn't provoke anything." The room buzzed. Karen raised her voice. "This meeting is not a trial." "No," the man replied. "But you're treating it like one." Karen slammed her clipboard on the table. "This community has rules," she shouted. "If people can't follow them, they don't belong here." The words echoed. Lily flinched. I stepped forward. "Say that again," I said quietly. Karen pointed at Lily. "She does not belong here." Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. I pulled out my phone. "I recorded everything," I said. Karen's face drained of color. "You can't." "I can," I replied. And I did. I played the audio. Her voice filled the room. Cold. Dismissive. Cruel. "You do not belong to us." Gasps. Someone covered their mouth. Karen reached for the device. "Turn that off." I didn't. One of the HOA board members leaned toward Karen. "Is this true?" he asked. Karen stammered. "I was enforcing policy." That's not policy, another board member said. That's discrimination. Karen stood abruptly. This meeting is over. No, I said firmly. Now it's beginning. A man in a suit near the side raised his hand. I'm an attorney, he said. And what I just heard violates federal disability law. Karen's confidence shattered. This is being recorded, she asked weakly. Yes, multiple voices answered. Lily stood up slowly. I don't want anyone punished, she said softly. I just want to feel safe. Her words hit harder than any accusation. Karen couldn't look at her. The board called an emergency recess. People gathered in small groups, whispering. Karen stormed out. But the damage was done. The truth was out. And it was bigger than her. 2 days later, there was a knock. Not from the HOA. From an investigator. We've received a complaint, he said. About discriminatory conduct. I nodded. I was wondering how long it would take. That same night, Karen sent a final notice. Intent to pursue legal action. She was escalating. Threatening. Trying to scare us. Lily read it silently. Dad, she asked, are they going to take our house? I knelt beside her. No, I said. They're about to lose something instead. I made a call. One I hadn't planned on making. But it was time. Because some people only understand power when they face real authority. And Karen had no idea who she was truly dealing with. The call came early the next morning. Not from the HOA. Not from Karen. From a federal office. We've reviewed the evidence, the voice said calmly. We need to speak with you in person. I looked at Lily, who was coloring quietly at the table. It's time, I said. Karen didn't expect investigators. She certainly didn't expect federal ones. When they arrived at the HOA office, she laughed nervously. This is a misunderstanding, she said. I was just enforcing rules. One of the investigators looked at her notes. Rules don't allow dehumanizing a disabled child, she replied. Karen's smile vanished. Statements were taken. Recordings reviewed. Witnesses interviewed. And suddenly, Karen's words weren't rumors anymore. They were evidence. You do not belong to us. That sentence appeared in an official report. In bold. The HOA board called an emergency meeting. This time, Karen wasn't leading it. She sat at the side. Quiet. Avoiding eye contact. The board chair cleared his throat. We have been advised to suspend all enforcement actions related to this family immediately. The room went silent. Karen stared at the floor. Lily entered the room with me. She didn't hide. She didn't look down. People moved out of her way not in fear, but respect. She belonged. Everyone could see it now. The board chair continued. Effective immediately, Karen is relieved of her duties pending investigation. Karen stood up abruptly. You can't do this, she snapped. I've protected this community. A board member replied calmly. You endangered it. Security escorted her out. No shouting. No drama. Just consequences. A week later, we received a letter. Not from Karen. From the HOA's legal department. It included a formal apology. Policy changes. Mandatory training. And one sentence that mattered most. Your daughter is a valued member of this community. Lily read it twice. Then smiled. Karen was charged not criminally, but civilly. Discrimination. Harassment. Abuse of authority. Her name appeared in records she couldn't erase. The power she loved so much? Gone. That night, Lily sat beside me. Dad, she asked, do you think she knew she was hurting me? I thought for a moment. Yes, I said gently. But now everyone knows too. She nodded. That means she can't do it again. Something shifted. People waved again. Kids invited Lily to play. Parents spoke up when rules felt wrong. Fear lost its grip. Lily didn't become quieter after that. She became stronger. She joined a disability advocacy group at school. She spoke at an assembly. Her voice steady. Her message clear. I belong wherever I am. Months later, I saw Karen in a grocery store. She looked smaller. Quieter. She avoided my eyes. Lily noticed. Dad, she whispered, that's her. I nodded. Do you want to leave? She shook her head. No, she said. I'm not afraid anymore. Belonging isn't about approval. It isn't about rules written to exclude. It's about dignity. And Lily never lost hers even when someone tried to take it. This wasn't just our story. It was a warning. To anyone who thinks power gives them the right to erase someone else. It doesn't. Months later, Lily painted a picture. A house. A sun. And words at the bottom. I belong. She hung it on the fridge. Right where everyone could see it. She told my disabled daughter she didn't belong. The truth? She belonged all along.